Dr. Gorka is having a speech today. We will talk to him tomorrow, especially about George Soros, given the fact that Sebastian Gorka is a Hungarian American. He probably has some very strong views about whether or not it is appropriate to refer to him as a Nazi who sold out his fellow Jews during World War II when he was age 14. We'll talk to Dr. Gorka about that tomorrow. Stephen Moore, one of President Trump's top economic advisors, will be here talking about the tariffs that have now been imposed on Canada, Mexico, and the UE. They were temporarily exempted. No mas. Andrew McCabe, the former FBI number 2, turned over his memo on Comey's firing. Why is this significant? They went crazy over this memo at CNN and MSNBC. Hee-haw. Prosecutors in the Michael Cohen case are piecing together shredded documents from a raid. Apparently he didn't use the kind of shredder that you normally use in order to make sure somebody can't put together the documents. And a Chick-fil-A store owner in Sacramento is raising his minimum wage to $17 an hour. Damn! All that and more, but first, at the end of the show yesterday, packing everything up, I'm talking to Forgotten Man. And Forgotten Man says, you know, until yesterday I thought Valerie Jarrett was white. I said, get out of here. He said, I didn't know. I look at her hair. Her hair looks like the kind of hair that my mom has and my mom's friends have. And her expression, she just looked like one of my mom's friends. In fact, if I'd shown you this picture and you would have said, that looks like your mom's friend. I didn't think that much of it. So I'm driving home. I get a text from a buddy of mine who's an LAPD officer, also retired Marine. And he told me that until yesterday, he thought Valerie Jarrett was white. So I talked to my good friend Patricia, known her for years, who's also white. I said, when did you learn that Valerie Jarrett was black? She said, day before yesterday. I said, what did you think before that? She said, I had no idea what she was. I thought she was kind of Middle Eastern or something. I don't really know. So I did a little informal poll here at the station. 3 guys standing in the kitchen. All 3, unfortunately, are white. I said, when did you guys find out that Valerie Jarrett was black? One of them said day before yesterday. One of them said he always knew. And one of them says, I'm not quite sure when I found out, but at first I thought she was white. Now, Roseanne Barr, one of her many excuses, put aside the Ambien stuff and how she felt about whatever it is she's writing about. She also said, Roseanne Barr did, that she thought Valerie Jarrett was white. Everybody ignored that part. That, in my opinion, should have been the first thing out of Roseanne Barr's mouth, assuming she's sincere.
White, so I apologize.
Assuming she's sincere. Now, I'm willing to bet you, haven't had any survey, this is not scientific, don't send me any letter, that most everybody black who paid any attention to politics knows or figured or knew that Valerie Jarrett was black. Everybody. I got a feeling if you took a poll and asked white people, 48 hours, 72 hours ago, a week ago, what they thought the race of Valerie Jarrett was, I got a feeling a substantial percentage of them would have said, I thought she was white.
I am white, so I apologize.
Now, why am I mentioning all of this? Because it changes the whole debate, doesn't it? A white person can compare another white person to an ape. It's done all the time. Jimmy Kimmel did it. Said that President Trump was brushing off dandruff off of Emmanuel Macron's shoulder, orangutan's groom. And how about when Bill Maher offered Donald Trump $5 million to prove he wasn't the offspring of orangutan? So how is what Roseanne Barr said functionally any different than what Jimmy Kimmel said? Or what Bill Maher said? Especially if Roseanne is sincere when she says she thought she was white. And doesn't that sound plausible to you? I mean, you may not like Roseanne. Roseanne may have been on Ambien. But Roseanne has got to know that if you compare a black person to an ape, you're going to have problems. She thought she was white. Now, had she said that, and that alone, We then would have had a conversation about what makes somebody white, what makes somebody black. How about Meghan Markle? How about Tiger Woods? How about Valerie Jarrett? How about Barack Obama? That would have opened up a whole different conversation that a lot of people probably didn't want to have. But it would have been honest. So Roseanne Barr, if you are listening, and I know you are, why didn't you just out of the gate, say, I'm sorry. I thought this was an acceptable brand of humor. After all, my fellow comics, Jimmy Kimmel and Bill Maher, had made similar assertions about Trump. So I thought it was okay for a white person to compare another white person to an ape. And after all, look at the picture of the woman from Planet of the Apes. Put it next to Valerie Jarrett. You tell me what's what, says Roseanne Barr. That's what she should have said. Instead of, I was on Ambien. Really? How many of you, until a few days ago, thought Valerie Jarrett was white?
I am white, so I apologize.
888-971-SAGE. 888-971-7243. Come on, bring it. Be honest. How many of you thought she was white? And how many of you didn't have the same reaction that my friends had when this thing came down? Well, I thought she was white. What's the controversy? Oh, she's black. Oh, well, it's different. 888-971-SAGE. 888-971-7243. Did you hear what Samantha Bee said about Ivanka Trump over her father's immigration policy? She referred to Ivanka Trump with the C word. Now, Samantha Bee's show is carried on TBS, which happens to be owned by Time Warner, with the same company that owns CNN. And here's what she said.
So now, after decades of ignoring the issue, Americans are finally paying attention. Well, most of us. Ivanka Trump, who works at the White House, chose to post the second most oblivious tweet we've seen this week. You know, Ivanka, that's a beautiful photo of you and your child, but let me just say, one mother to another, do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless c***. He listens to you. Put on something tight and low cut and tell your father.
You hear that? You hear the cheering? A feckless C word? Now, I guess that's probably worse than what Bill Maher said. Bill Maher just referred to Sarah Palin as a C word. I guess she was a purposeful C word. But this was a feckless C word. I guess it's even worse.
One mother to another. Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless c***. He listens to you. Put on something tight and low cut and tell your father to f***ing stop it. Tell him it was an Obama thing and see how it goes, okay? We'll be right back.
Unreal. Unreal. This is on TBS. Now, they bleeped it on the show, but the live audience, of course, heard it. And this is a scripted show. It's not live, which means the script had to be written, had to be approved. Higher-ups had to know about it. This was a management decision to use that word. And then, of course, they put it out, and now they've taken it down. Mission accomplished. A bunch of people now know that Samantha Bee's show is on TBS. I never did. You hear what Sally Fields said about it? She says, I like Samantha Bee a lot, but she's flat wrong to call Ivanka a C word. C words are powerful, beautiful, nurturing, and honest. My goodness. I'm Larry Elder. Now, coming up, you know Joy Reid, the angry lefty on MSNBC, the one who got busted sending out all those anti-gay posts on her old blog, which she's since shut down. Well, the Wayback Machine has uncovered other blogs that blog posts that she wrote, including one in which she thought that 9/11 was an inside job. I'm not making this up. There's another blog post where she posted somebody's Photoshop picture of John McCain on the face of the Virginia Tech shooter. You know, the one that mowed down, about 30-some odd people? Damn! Yeah, Joy Reid did that on her blog. Not that long ago, 2006, 2007. And now she's this crusader for the left. angry anti-gay posts saying people don't like the sight of watching two men kiss and that normalizing homosexuality means we're going to get more of it. She said all that stuff. Now we're talking about Roseanne Barr's tweet that she sent out in which she said something to the effect of Valerie Jarrett would be the offspring of the Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes if they had a baby. She took it down, but not before people like Al Sharpton demanded that ABC take action. Al Sharpton. Yeah, I know. And one of Roseanne Barr's defenses was she thought Valerie Jarrett was white. Now, initially I thought that was lame because I just thought that people knew that Valerie Jarrett was black. It turns out I'm wrong. A whole bunch of people assumed that she was white, and I think Roseanne Barr was completely sincere, and that explains everything. She had to know if you compare a black person to an ape, you're in trouble. Who doesn't know that? So my question is, 888-971-SAGE, what did you think her race was until a couple of days ago? Joe is in Bakersfield, California. Joe, you're on the Larry Elder Show. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing good, Larry. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, I thought she was white, too, until, just recently. But I did hear that she was Iranian.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's what kind of made me think she was white. I wasn't sure what, to tell you the truth.
Well, Joe, thank you very much for that. Let's go to Cliff. Cliff is in Dallas, Texas. Cliff, you're on the Larry Elder Show.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Great, Cliff.
Hey, I just wanted to say that, I listen to a lot of radio shows during the day, all day, because I'm on the road here in Dallas. And not once has anybody said, what race she is or what ethnicity or anything. And I knew she was Iranian a long time ago. And when Roseanne Barr said that, it was kind of funny because she's not white. She's not black. She is a Muslim, and she's Iranian.
Well, Cliff, I'm not sure that she calls herself Muslim, and I know that she has an Iranian parent and a black parent, but I don't think she calls herself Muslim, but I could be wrong about that. Cliff, anyway, thank you very much for the call. I appreciate it. Evelyn is in Houston, Texas. Evelyn, you're on the Larry Elder Show.
Yes, Larry, thank you. I've known all along that Valerie Jarrett was not white, but when I heard about Roseanne's tweet, I also read online that she followed it up with a tweet that said, "You people are crazy. Muslim is not a race.
Mm-hmm.
People of all races are Muslim." Well, if that was her first response, to me that says she didn't connect racism with the black person in the Planet of the Apes. What she connected the racism was with Muslim. And
right, absolutely, Evelyn. Thank you very much for that. 888-971-SAGE. Until 48 hours ago, 72 hours ago, how many of you assumed that Valerie Jarrett was white, or at least that Valerie Jarrett was not black? 888-971-SAGE. I am Larry Elder. Do not leave town. The president has pardoned Dinesh D'Souza. He was convicted of violating campaign finance laws, in my opinion, given a very harsh sentence because of his political views. And the prosecutor who prosecuted him does not appear to be very happy about this pardon. We're going to be talking about that later on as well. Sally Field's reaction to what Samantha Bee said is unbelievable. Samantha Bee used the C word on Ivanka Trump. Samantha Bee has apologized. By the way, when Bill Maher used the C word on Sarah Palin, he never apologized. He said it was during his stand-up act, so therefore it was okay. Michael Richards, when he went off on those black hecklers, was doing his stand-up act too. His career was never the same. Furthermore, I believe it was on HBO that Bill Maher referred to Sarah Palin as a dumb T-word. So I guess it's okay to call someone a T-word on television, but not a C-word. Sally Field said that in Samantha Bee calling Ivanka Trump a, quote, feckless C-word, quote, she is flat wrong to call Ivanka a C-word, except she didn't say C-word. She wrote the actual word. And here's the next sentence Sally Field wrote. C-words are powerful, beautiful, nurturing, and honest. End of quote. Which meant, of course, that Ivanka was none of those things. Whatever happened to there's a special place in hell for women who don't help women? Whatever happened to that? Samantha Bee on TBS calls Ivanka Trump the C word. Now, keep in mind, they bleeped it. But they allowed the video to be put on social media so you could see it. And now they've taken it down. I bet you a whole bunch of people now know Samantha Bee has a show on TBS. By the way, the White House is demanding that TBS cancel her show. Call the comment appalling and disgusting. We're talking about that later on as well. The question is, Roseanne Barr's best defense, especially if she's being sincere, only if she's being sincere, is that she assumed that Valerie Jarrett was white. I assumed that she was the child of an Iranian mother or father and a black mother or father. Turns out I'm wrong too. Both her parents are black, according to Wiki. She was born in Iran to parents James E. Bowman and Barbara T. Bowman. One of her maternal grandfathers, Robert Robinson Taylor, was the first accredited African-American architect and the first African-American enrolled at MIT. Her father, a pathologist and geneticist, ran a hospital for children in Iran in 1956 as part of a program where American doctors and agricultural doctors sought to help in the health and farming efforts of developing countries. Her parents are both African-American, close quote, says Wiki. I didn't even know that. We're going to go to the phones next segment, so please stick around.
Larry will be right.
888-971-SAGE. Roseanne initially said this, quote, I thought she was Saudi, referring to Valerie Jarrett. She also said she thought she was white, Saudi, Jewish, Persian. She's not Persian. She's not Jewish. She's not Saudi. Both parents are black. She was born in Iran to American black parents. I didn't know that until just now. And a lot of people assumed that she was white. Nathan is in Houston, Texas. Nathan, you're on the Larry Elder Show.
Hey, Larry. It's good to talk to you. I'm a white guy, and I do not apologize. I thought Valerie Jarrett was, I mean, I guess you can use the term white, but that's the problem with categorizing people in races is I thought she was from Iran, and as you indicated, she is from Iran. But all the pundits on the left and the right claim she was from Iran, or at least, from that Middle Eastern perspective, and whether it was on the left of, she understands the Iranians, or whether it was on the right of she's biased towards Iranians. Either way, I always thought that she was Iranian, which means I never thought she was black until 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm. Well, Nathan, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Mike is in Ventura, California. Mike, you're on the Larry Elder Show.
Yeah, hi, Larry. I didn't think she was white, but I basically understood two things about her. One, she's extremely vindictive, and number two, that she was born in Tehran. So I thought that all along that she was Iranian.
Yeah.
So because she was born there, so no idea that she was actually black at all.
And Mike, don't you think it changes the whole debate of if Roseanne Barr sincerely thought Valerie Jarrett was white?
It does change the debate. However, I think that the tweet was just an excuse. I think because she's a Trump supporter, they've been wanting to try to get rid of her ever since her show came back on, and this was a convenient excuse. Mm-hmm.
Well, certainly, Mike, all of us who are conservatives are aware that the scrutiny is much higher, the intensity is much higher, and they were nervous about her tweets. I don't think they were looking to get rid of the show. It was making money. I think they made a cost-benefit decision that if they stood up and they tried to defend this woman, there'd be a protest, advertiser boycott. They'd end up losing more money than they would make. So they made a business decision, and they made it fast. I'm just saying that the whole debate to me is different, assuming Roseanne Barr thought that Valerie Jarrett was white. I think there ought to be some polling around the country to ask people, until three or 4 days ago, what ethnicity did you assume Valerie Jarrett had? And I bet you a whole bunch of people would have felt the same way Roseanne Barr felt, which is why this whole thing is incredibly unfair. Jimmy Kimmel can make a joke about Donald Trump brushing the dandruff off of the shoulder of Emmanuel Macron, because after all, that's what orangutans do. They groom. Bill Maher can say, I'll give Donald Trump $5 million to prove he's not the son of an orangutan. That's okay. So if that's okay, and if what Jimmy Kimmel said is okay, and assuming Roseanne Barr thought that Valerie Jarrett was white, then what Roseanne Barr said was okay. Right? 888-971-SAGE, 888-971-7243. Rebecca is in Dallas, Texas. Rebecca, you're on the Larry Elder Show.
Hi there. The point that I was going to make was I didn't care either way about Valerie Jarrett, but when I heard that news, I told my fiance, this is damaging probably because she is African American, but at the time I had no idea, and I've learned even more about her ethnicity just listening to you. But I was laughing with my fiance, and I said, I think we're all really missing the real concerning point here is she Russian? Because that seems to be the big deal.
Right. Well, she's not. Nor is she Muslim. Apparently, according to Wiki anyway, and I'll leave it to you to determine its accuracy. But according to Wiki, both her parents are black. They were both doing a program in Iran at the time in 1956. Her father was a doctor. And when she was 5 years old, the family moved to London for a year, then later moved to Chicago. But her parents are both black. And in Chicago, she worked for the mayor of the city, Harold Washington, and that's how she met Michelle, and that's how Obama met Valerie Jarrett. So she spent some time in Iran, but most of her time has been spent stateside, this country. 888-971-SAGE, 888-971-7243. Joy Reid, my goodness, a 9/11 truther? Don't leave town.
All across America.